name's Betty Buckland, and I live on corner Seacliff and Neptune in Strathmere. We've been here for 55, 56 years, and this year's fourth generation of grandchildren are lucky enough to be in Strathmere on the beach. When we first came here, we had rented in Ocean City for years, and my father came over and to visit the people next door, and they were told that the house was for sale. So he went in and looked at it and loved it, and my mother did too. And then the people that owned it were from Delaware, and so they put in a bid, and it went on and on and on. Finally, in February, they were able to settle. February of '60, they were able to settle on the house. And coming from Ocean City, I said to my father, well, we're like in the middle of the Sahara Desert, Dad. there's not a lot. Because where we were, where we are, there were so many vacant lots and not too many large houses, not houses on the street. But the nice part about it is most of the people that came when I was a little girl, their grandchildren or children are still on the street, which is lovely.
Wow.
It really is lovely. It's a wonderful place to raise children. My sister and I were here in our early teens until now. So
it's just your sister and you? Just
yeah, my parents are gone, and so we have the house now, and it's lovely that the kids can come down, and it's a kind of a house that it's family friendly. There's a big old house and lots of room, third floor, lots of air, and we have 2 dogs. They're very happy. And after my father passed away, we put a deck on, and which made it really nice to see the ocean, because the front porch you couldn't see. Across the street from us originally was just a great big lot filled with bayberry bushes and all kinds of vegetation, so you couldn't really see the ocean. And then when you would walk down, there was a house identical to ours on the opposite corner, and it was a beautiful green, trees all the way down, beautiful green lawn, absolutely gorgeous. And then '62 storm came, took it all out, and the house, like ours, it just collapsed like this. The sand just
all brick.
Yeah. And it just collapsed, and they moved the top of the house over around the corner, and it's now on Commonwealth, and the people have fixed it all up. It's beautiful what they've done but just the top of the people that live there were the Boardmans, and then I don't think they've ever come back to Strathmere. But a lot of people their houses were down on the beach and had to be moved, so that really filled our street.
Mm-hmm.
With any of the vacant lots. I still know most of the people, from the '60s. They still come back every year.
So the style of your house kind of reminds me of when you ride through Ventnor, and
it's kind of a Dutch colonial sort of type. Yeah. But there were 2 of them. There was one on that corner and one on this corner, and we had some paperwork that said that the very first meeting of the Strathmere Civic Association was held in our living room.
Really?
Now, that had to be,
Would that have been with your father and
we
mother?
weren't there.
Oh, you weren't there.
It had to be the family that owned it before.
And what were your parents' names?
Edith and Al Rexford, R-E-X-F-O-R-D.
Ah, okay. Edith and Al?
Al, yeah, Alfred was his name.
Okay. So, as teenagers, did you have summer jobs or just run amok?
Well, we did when we were in Ocean City. Then when we came over here, I don't think we did. I don't know why we didn't, but
Were you mostly here on weekends or
Yeah.
then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've always commuted.
yeah,
And why do you continue to come here?
because we love it. We
Why?
absolutely love it. And my children, I'm so lucky that my children love it too, that they can't wait to come down. There's something about Strathmere that no other city on the Jersey Shore has. It's quiet. The people are all lovely. They take care of their houses. They take care of their properties. They're not unlike Ocean City with the boardwalk and all that. We don't have to worry about that. When our kids were little and at night, they would go down the beach and play baseball or, bring their stuff down. We would take them to the boardwalk twice in the summer. Go over and go to Coors for ice cream and go
Yeah.
take them on the amusements and things. But it was, the nice part was here, they didn't care. They did puzzles, they did this, they did that. And it kept them busy. It really did, it kept them busy. And they knew all the young kids, in Strathmere and got along with them so that they all went down the beach together at night, played. And it got dark, everybody went to their house, and they were up the next day, and everybody went down the beach again.
That's great.
Evening Bulletin, Philadelphia Evening Bulletin, and the date is February 24th, 1960. What does that say?
Should be 62.
Yeah. And the New Jersey edition. And that's our house. And this is, I think, when they were putting in the bulkhead. The bulkhead went from down at the corner all the way down to where the lifeguard stand is now. And I think that's the new bulkhead. And here is Coast Guard Tower that
Right.
used to be the northeast corner in Strathmere. And when we were younger, we used to see the Coast Guard walk down the street in their blue outfits and climb up to the
Really?
top of the tower. They were there a certain amount of hours, and then down they'd come, and a new group would replace them.
Now, were you one of those teenagers that used to climb up to the top of the tower when somebody wasn't
Oh,
looking?
my Lord, no. We were scared to death.
I've heard stories.
Oh, gosh. No, it was, it certainly has changed, because there were a lot of cottages, down there, and they've taken them down and put up big houses, but Strathmere is Strathmere.
So, where do you like to go to dinner?
Mildred's.
What do you order?
And I
What's
knew
your
Mildred.
favorite? You knew Mildred? That's
My mother
crazy.
and my neighbor were good friends of Mildred's, and when we were little, my children were little, we would take them down there for dinner because Mildred made these wonderful lemon meringue pies and all but with the kids, they always had turkey with gravy, and then they always brought them Jell-O loaded with whipped cream. And the kids loved it. They could go every night to Mildred's.
That's still on the menu, isn't it? Turkey? Turkey dinner?
Probably is. Yeah, I love Mildred's, and I guess that's my favorite. I mean, we've gone to all of them, but
Were you into fishing and crabbing and all that? Or
the kids do.
Kids?
The kids do. In fact, my oldest son, he has all his paraphernalia in the garage, and he comes down 2 or 3 times this summer, takes his kids in the back bay and rents the boats,
Yeah.
Frank's or
That's fun.
whoever is over there, and they do fish. My father was a big fisherman, but he used to take party boats out down at Fortescue and down that part of New Jersey. But we just love it. When we come through Seattle City and come across the causeway, and as soon as you can see the ocean, it just sort of gives you a relaxing. And then, of course, we come to Strathmere, and it gets cooler and cooler and cooler, and we get to our house, and we have no air conditioning, we have no heat.
Really? So you close up for the winter?
We do. Usually the end of October, and then we open the first weekend in May. We have a nice fireplace, and it does, take the chill off in September and October when it's a little chilly.
Right.
And May, when we first come down. But it's our tradition. We open the first weekend in May and close the last weekend in October.
That's great. And all you can think about is getting here.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
We're not here as much as we should be. But, the kids growing up and they're in this sport and that sport and they don't come. And I don't like to come down with myself and say we have the two big dogs and I can't walk them both at the same time. So one complains. My husband usually takes one and I take the other one.
So do you have problems swimming up there with the current and with the point?
You know what? I don't go in anymore because I have knee replacements. But the kids go in. They take their boogie boards or their rafts and stuff. They don't seem to have any problem. Now I've heard there has been, but I mean we're lucky.
So even though, what do you think the biggest change is? Even though it sounds as if you're doing what you've always done.
Yes, I think the biggest change is the people coming in and taking down the wonderful little cottages that were here forever and putting up these monstrous houses. That's just the way I feel. It might have been 60, I don't know when the first one was, but my neighbor had a nephew. His name was Joe, and Joe, the fire truck the Strathmere, the red truck went around the corner, and here was Joe behind it with an American flag and a bottle of Budweiser. He said, "Come on, we're having a parade." And we were having breakfast, and we got up and we marched behind the just one block down. But I think that's how the Strathmere parade started on the 4th of July.
I think it was. I think it was Sarah Boardman and Mrs. Dunn. I can't think of her first name. Judy Dunn. I think they got some pots and pans and rounded up the kids. So about how old would you have been then? Or when would you think that would have been?
Let's see, Joe probably would be 20-some. I probably wouldn't. I'm 7. 50 years ago. So
about that.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically you were in the first 4th of
First
July
grade.
parade. Well, I would stick with that if I were you.
It was fun. Now I've heard different stories, but I swear he was out there with his and his bottle of beer. So out we went, followed him down the street.
Great.